morning, lovelies. How are you all doing today? Oh, it's over here. I hope you are well. Just gathering my bits and bobs. Actually, I'm just looking at the clock. It's no longer morning. It's just gone noon. Right, put that on lock. Yeah, I just didn't want to get out of bed this morning. I was so sleepy and comfy, and I know what I've got to do today, and I thought, you know what, there's no hurry. Let's not hurry. And if my body is saying it wants a bit more sleep, let's give it a bit more sleep. So yeah, I turned the alarm off, rolled over, went back to sleep, and it was delicious. Right, I'm going shopping. Not for food. I'm going shopping for bits and bobs, including I want to get one of my keys cut. I've got one of my keys I've only got one of, and I am at the moment I'm sort of petrified of getting locked out because I haven't got spare keys with neighbours yet. I will ask to do that. Give it a couple more weeks, a few more chats, and then I'll ask one of my neighbours for keys. But yeah, it's not food shopping today. It's bits and bobs, and we've got a fantastic shop here in Swanage called Nixon's. It's a kind of a homewares shop, but it's a bit of everything. I love it. I've used it in the past, and I've used it since I've moved. I think after I did the scullery makeover, I realised, I need some cup hooks, I need hooks. And I went to my little kit. Of course, I looked at my little kit first of all, and I didn't have any suitable hooks. So I thought, Nixon's will have them. So it's the kind of shop where it's all like cookware and preserving. There's tons of preserving stuff there, all the different kilner jars. They've got a paint station at the back where they can mix your colour for you. They've got gardening stuff. You know the kind of place. Fantastic. So one of the things on my list today to get from them is I'm only going to get a small tin. I know it's not the most economical way of doing it, but I only need a small tin at the moment. I'm talking paint. When I get into big decorating, then of course I will order larger tins. But I'm just going to get a tin of white paint, because after I've done the scullery makeover and filming it and everything, when I was editing, it's like the underside of the top shelf is kind of a browny beige. It's a bit of darkness, but also it just looks horrible. So I'm going to paint that. All sorts of bits and bobs. Anyway, let's get down there. I think I've got some quite random things on my list, and I'm thinking, will they have them? Are they going to be able to supply me with everything I need to save me ordering things online? Where I am, I should have probably said this sooner in all my videos. The next nearest town is Wareham, and it's about the same size as Swanage, and that's about a 45-minute bus ride away. It's 10 miles away. After that, but yeah, Wareham's quite small too, but for a real kind of main town for shops and shopping for things I can't get here, it's about an hour and 15 minutes away on the bus. That's if I go via land. If I go via the sea, it's about an hour. Anyway, so the point is, I'm obviously I want to support the local businesses exactly as I've done all my life. And I just prefer that face-to-face encounter. So anyway, none of this is going to happen if I don't get a wriggle on. And then when we're back, oh goodness me, I'm going to have a bit of a chat about my new bills here because, well, we've had awful April already. Someone in the press, gave it that epithet of awful April when so many bills went up, but yeah, it's a bit of a shocker. Right, but first of all, let's go and see if we can pick up these bits and bobs, and we'll reconvene show you what I've got, and yeah, tackle this bill situation. Right, off we go. It's not a bad view on your way to the shops, is it? Lots and lots of people around. It's the Easter holidays. Right, this ain't going to get the shopping done. So, yeah, off we jolly well go. Yeah, just adding folk pass. It's obviously really, really, really busy at the moment because it's Easter holidays still. It's actually not too bad today because it's quite overcast. Actually, it's lunchtime as well. I just had to battle my way through the queue of folk at the chippy. Massive queue. They do really good chips. So, ahead of us, well, I was going to say it's the main beach. The main tourist beach is the first bit, and you go on and on and on, and where you see the properties disappear in the distance, that's where my grandparents lived, and that's where my sister's ashes, well, some of them are. But I live in the old town. That's called Swanage New Town up there. I live in the old town, and this is my way to the shops. Clomp clomp. I'll try not to use my stick so that the clomp clomp doesn't annoy you. Oh, goodness me. I'm still pinching myself, you can imagine. Okay, I'm just going to turn left now. Actually, I'll show you, it's going to be really busy, so I'm going to put you away pronto. But now I'm going to go left to the shops. And I'm just mindful of people's privacy while they're enjoying their holiday. So this road ahead, it runs to the left. Lots of lovely sort of gift type shops. It's all very lovely. And then that road there, that station road, it runs up to the vintage railway and also the bus station. This, by the way, it's the Swan Brook, the brook that gives the town its name. So yeah, this road to the left is sort of gift shops and sort of the holidaymaker stuff, whereas Station Road is the kind of your normal high street type shops. So, first port of call. There shouldn't be any traffic because the Esplanade Road gets shut during the high season, so there's no traffic, and it means that kids from beach huts, when they're running backwards and forwards, they don't have to look for traffic. But my first stop is going to be Boots. You can see there's WH Smith's next door for me to spend my lovely gift card. Oh, and the post office is back that way. But I'm going to pop into Boots, and then Nixon's is about halfway up the road on the other side. Bodgens is here, Co-op is a bit further up. Grape Tree I was mentioning is also on this road. This is normal shopping road rather than holidaymaker gift shopping. Right, let me pop into Boots and I'll reconvene. This is the Fab Nixon's, and I've already found the first thing on my list, which is it's these radiator things. The radiators don't have space to hang things on, so I'm going to get these for the days when the weather is inclement and I can't hang my washing outside. Oh, I think I'm going to have to put you down. All your preserving needs. Jam making, cordial making, What I'm after is... here. I need a wider neck funnel. Oh, I have to put you down again.
Dial that bit down and then it will go back and forth. Although if they're tight, they give you a headache.
Yep. Everything I could possibly need. Ooh. Goodness me, cardiac hill. You know, I was halfway up cardiac hill when the phone went, and it was the lovely Donna from the fabulous Roberts and Dennis, my removals firm. If you are moving within London or you're moving out of London, I highly recommend their service. They were brilliant. And of course, I'm warm now. Having now unpacked everything, I can safely say there's no breakage, there's not a mark on anything. Anyway, I was halfway up cardiac hill, and I joked to her and I said, last time we spoke, I was halfway up the stairs. Not even halfway up, in London on completion day. You've got a knack of catching me when I'm doing effort. Anyway, I sat on one of the neighbours' walls, finished the conversation. So I've done my shopping. Sorry in Nixon's, it was all a bit stop-starty. So many people around, one thing. But also because I had my basket on one arm, stick in the other, and I'm holding the camera in my stick. I didn't have enough hands. Anyway, I got everything I wanted. Let me do a show and tell. Oh, also, while I was out, I picked up just one tin of beans. It's cannellini. I'm going to make some fasolada later today, and I don't have any beans. And one thing I'm going to do today is sit and write a shopping list for the bulk type of stuff I was mentioning the other day when I did my food shopping about doing bulk purchase of the tinned stuff, beans, chickpeas, chopped tomatoes, and having them delivered. So yeah, one, my bag's quite heavy. I got a tin of white paint. That's for that underside in the scullery, but it will be, you know, touch up in other places. So yeah, I was delighted that I managed to get absolutely everything I wanted from Nixon's. Oh, I also got, it's not here, I got a key cut while I was there. They do key cutting as well, which is brilliant. Obviously, you know, changing locks and making sure I've got spares of keys. So that was done. I also, this was expensive, a carbon monoxide alarm, £22. So I had one in London, and I don't know why it didn't come with me. Anyway, it didn't. So that, yeah, I'm not going to mess about with stuff like that. So that's been purchased. I also got for the understairs, so the understairs, there's no asbestos there. I don't know what that was about. There's no evidence of damp per se, and there's nothing on my home buyer's report. I think what it is, that there's a slight musty smell there, and I think it's probably because this flat, it hasn't actually been lived in for, I think it's over about 6 years. It's been a rental, and so I don't think that cupboard's been used much. I don't think there's been any airflow, etc., etc. So for now, I've bought this moisture trap, and actually the woman serving me in Nixon's was saying she's got one of these. She said it works great. She doesn't use all the moisture granules in one go. She uses about a third, and it lasts for ages. So I thought, you know what, let's just put one of those in there. It's not the kind of thing I normally like to have, but, and like I said, I think it might just be because this place hasn't been properly lived in. It hasn't been, you know, heated all the time. It hasn't been aired, etc., etc. So I'm happy. And then I wanted to get a metal one, but they didn't have any. I bought a new funnel because all of my funnels had been, they're really tiny. They're funnels they're basically cosmetics making. So they're, you know, my little metal ones, I use them, for instance, when I'm filling my jars with calendula oil. I make the oil in a big wide neck jar, and then they get poured into my little apothecary bottles. I also have the big jam funnel, but that's a really wide neck for the lavender bags. And I need this because now that I've got the space to buy my washing and laundry liquid in bulk, as you saw the other day, it's like, yay, I can finally do this. But then there are knock-ons. Oh, I'm now going to need a funnel. £1.29. That's all right. Anything else? No, that's that lot. And as I mentioned in the shop, the 2 radiator, what to call them, radiator airers. So there's 2 of them. They'll go on the bedroom radiator, and it's just like I said in the shop. It's just for, you know, when it's raining and I can't put my washing out. Obviously, I've got the clothes horse, the airer, the wooden clothes horse, and that will probably on those occasions live here by the radiator here. Unless I'm cooking, it might have to go to another room. It will probably fit in the bedroom as well. But that just gives me a little bit of extra space. So there's 2 on each. So it's going to be about 1.20 m, 2 metres full, another 2.5 metres of hanging space. Great, pleased with that. And like I said, the key cut. I mean, how great. I've managed to get everything I wanted. I've bought it locally. I'm supporting the local businesses. I'm putting my face out there. It's like, I'm here. And it means, you know, I'm not waiting in for a delivery or any of that kind of stuff. Right, so actually, you know what, let's go in the front room. I want to just talk about this whole cost of living shocker. That's better. I wanted a proper comfy sit down. So I'm back in my thoughts on chair. And look, some books. It's the shelf that is eventually going to be my pantry shelf in the kitchen. But I decided that that's a ways off happening. So now that cupboard, the uppers in the kitchen have become my postaging and packaging stuff. It's all the packaging for my shop, plus some bits and bobs from the shop. And I thought, you know, I really need to get... Actually, by the time you see this, the shop hopefully will be open. The delay was getting the P.O. box. This is just another of those costs. The P.O. box, my London one, I was only 3 months into a 12-month contract and it costs hundreds of pounds. But they won't forward it. They won't forward from a P.O. box and they won't give me a new P.O. box address. So the only option I had was to close that account and start a brand new account. So I had 9 months left to run on it. It's about £40 a month. It's crazy expensive, but I have to have it for my shop. You know, I'm a postal business. I need a postal address as a return address. Anyway, so today, when I'm filming, I don't have the P.O. box yet, but it should be in the next couple of days. And as soon as it's arrived, I can reopen the shop. And knowing that, I wanted to have the books out because, yes, they're safe in the boxes, but rummaging through to find them for an order. And besides, I like having books out because they're beautiful, beautiful objects. So there's a bit of a gap in the shelf just here. That's where my router is. And then I'll just tip you down a bit. Oh, hang on, how do we do this? So, yeah. And I've got a few more to add now. Where were you? Where were we? There we go. Sorry, a bit of a weird face. Anyway, so yes, a few books around, my thoughts on chair. It's like no time ever passed. Right, so the shockers, apart from that P.O. box. Just before London, just before I left London, I had my new water bill for London. Unbelievable. The price had gone up 49%. So imagine, it wasn't this, but imagine I was paying £100 a month. That would have put it up to 100, let's round it up, 150. If they did the same rise the following year, it put my bill up to 225 a month. this is Thames Water. They are paying out huge, they've paid out millions and millions and millions in bonuses, but they're now saying the system's broke, we can't pay for it, so the customers are going to pay. Maybe you should have fixed the repairs with that money rather than giving bonuses to people who obviously can't run the company. Anyway, so I thought I'd written it down. It was going to go up from something like £45 to £67 a month. And that's with my single person discount. Moving here, it's a saving. Yes, so I metered here. I still don't know where my meter is. They're going to send out an engineer to show me. I was on the phone and they were saying, it's in your driveway. And it's like, I don't have a driveway. I was outside in the street and there is a manhole cover. It's like, I'm sure it's rusted shut. Surely this can't be it. I can't get this cast iron lid off. Anyway, so they're going to send an engineer who will then show me so that I can then do monthly meter readings so that I always stay on track. If I'm starting to use a bit much, I can think, oh, you need to cut back. Or if I'm being really, really frugal with my water, I can think, actually, I could use a bit more water and still be able to afford it. So I don't know yet exactly what the bill is going to be, but we've talked about my usage over the phone. Of course, I don't have a bath here either. We talked about my usage and they've set my direct debit at £35 a month. So that's, obviously that's a whole chunk cheaper than it was in London. I need to buy a water butt. I probably need to buy about 4 or 5 water butts and have an overflow system. It's a big lorry trying to get up the hill. I love being on the street level. I can see everything. I can see when my postie is arriving. I can wave. Okay, so the water, less here. Great. My internet connection, it's £1 cheaper. So obviously at the changeover, I'm still with the same company. I'm still with PlusNet. I've got to say, fantastic service from PlusNet. I always had a great service in London. I never had an outage. Touch wood, I haven't jinxed myself. Never ever had an outage. And I'd see on my local Facebook group, my Sky's gone down, my Virgin's gone down, whatever. But I never had issues. I knew I wanted to keep them. They had me up and running here the minute I moved in. I found my router, plugged it in, internet straight away. Fantastic. So I started a new contract from the day I moved in and it's £1 cheaper. Yay! My contents insurance has gone down. Yay! It surprised me because I thought being on the ground floor it might be a bit more expensive. But of course the big difference is I'm not in London. And, I've lived in London. I lived in London for 35 years and in 35 years had one break-in. London isn't this demon city where you get broken into every 2 minutes. However, that's what the insurance companies think. So, brilliant. My insurance here is £10 per month less. So far that's 10, 11, I think that's 50. That's about £26 a month less to live in rural England. The building's insurance for the entire building, double what it was in London. But of course, there are only 3 of us paying for it, whereas in London, it was paid in 5 parts. So yeah, that's quite a hike. It's an annual bill, so I've mentioned this before with budgeting. So I will take however much it is for the year, divide that by 12 and make sure, as in the 12 months of the year, and make sure I put that money aside into savings every month so that as that annual bill rolls around, it's not a shock. I've saved for it, but it is quite a bit down. Now my gas and electricity, they've really gone up. Again, we're kind of going on an estimate at the moment, so we'll see what we can do. But I went from paying £70 a month in London, and that actually built up credit for the winter. I had £160 of credit left over from the winter, which they paid me back. I was reckoning here, because obviously the ceilings are higher. I remember I was trying to calculate the cubic footage of this place and how much it would cost, and I reckoned it was going to be about 100 a month. They've estimated 120. Yikes! So there's some good important things I can do. Obviously I've talked about the windows. Get that double glazing, get the new windows, stop all the drafts at the windows. Brilliant. And things like putting curtains up, you know, really good, thick, heavy drapes for the winter. I wouldn't want them in the summer. I like the light and airiness. Things like the back door, I can make. Oh, I'm just thinking about some fabric I've got. I can make a really heavy drape for the back door again, just to, you know, make sure I'm not getting any drafts. But actually, I think I'll probably replace the back door too. So it may initially be a bit more than London, and it's a huge investment doing the windows. I knew this flat was a doer-upper, and it's not the glamorous doing up like the new kitchen. It's boring stuff like windows and pointing and things like that. But yes, for now, my gas and electricity. What did I just reckon I'd saved on the other things? About 25, 26 quid. So that can kind of go towards the gas and the electricity. But the other one is the council tax. It's quite a lot more here. I still don't know what my bill is going to be. I wrote to them about the 25th of March, once I knew we were in that exchange completion area. I wrote to them to say, I'm moving in, I need an account. I mentioned in my email that I'm a single occupant, so that should be discounted. What did I write down? Yeah, I'm a single occupant, so it should be discounted for that. Also, I'm low income, so that ought to be a means-tested reduction too. But as it stands, without any of that assistance, it's 150 a month. Crikey, that's a lot. So my bills, nothing to do with business, but my personal, bills, will have gone up from about I think it's about 320 I was at. It's going to be more like 450 a month. And like I said, that doesn't include any of my business bills. So I have annual bills for the business, the PO box, the website, the shop hosting. What else do I pay for business? Can't remember. But anyway, yeah, so yikes, it's more expensive for me to live here than it was to live in London. And it's funny, isn't it? Because so many people used to say to me, oh, the cost of living in London, you're mad to live in London, it's so expensive, get out and you can live really cheaply somewhere else. Well, not in a gorgeous seaside town, you can't, it's more expensive. But look, I reckoned for that before I moved. That was part of my reckoning and my calculations, and as far as I'm concerned, it's a small price to pay for living in such a beautiful area. The 100 square miles, this whole area is stunning. To live in a beautiful town and to live in a gorgeous little flat, it's a small price to pay for me anyway. And you cut your cloth to suit your needs, don't you, in life? So there may be other areas where I can cut back in order to pay for this. Like the shopping is a bit more expensive, but again, I can work on that. I can look at, as I've mentioned, doing much bigger bulk buys, 3 for 2s, that sort of thing, having things delivered. That will bring my costs down. It is what it is. Yeah, I don't care. I love it here. I don't care. Yeah, I mean, I obviously, on a serious note, I did have to think about that and figure that before I moved. And I knew that everything I've just described would be the case here. But I decided that, yeah, like I said, that was a price worth paying for having my little dream come true. Right, now, I'm Hank Marvin. It's getting on for lunchtime. Oh, I'm having today, I did some batch cooking the other day, so I'm going to have my hot lentil and bean salady thing for my lunch. The weather is a bit funny at the moment. It's quite bright. I mean, hope you can see the brightness, even with the blinds are up. as in, you know, half. Anyway, yeah, it's bright, but there's a bit of a chilly breeze. Because the reason I'm mentioning that is because I was thinking, oh, I might have my lunch in the garden today. Have you got a garden, Vivi? Yeah, I've got a garden. More of that soon. All right, lovelies, I will see you all really soon. I hope you enjoyed that little walk to the shops. I know it's only a teeny bit, but as I said in another previous video, I've got the rest of my life here. I can take you out again in a week. I can take you out again in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks. I can keep taking you out here because I'm here. Have I gone on about it enough? That I'm happy. I'll shut up now. See you all really soon. Until then, cheerio.